Basically, our way of life is a school of discipleship, and we aim to follow Jesus in the ministry of the Word. But this ministry springs from those other three aspects: the common life, the liturgy, and study. So in our tradition, the way of life has value as a witness to Christ. We must build the Church of God in our convents, first of all, and from there the gospel is exported, if you like, is preached from there. But the world to which we preach is also the world from which we come.
Cada generación viene a la orden con su propio bagaje, sus propias valijas.
Each generation comes to the Ord with its own baggage, with its own background, full of joy and hope, but also of sadness and anguish. In regard to the present time, no doubt, the Order is facing a key and very profound generational change. And so many enter the Order from a world that is full of uncertainties, also on the affective level, from broken families, from new styles of family life that surprise us. But that is where these young people come from.
Que nos sorprenden, pero que de ahí vienen estos jóvenes. Esta generación ha sido concebida, nacida, educada y formada en el absoluto postconcilio.
This generation has been conceived, born, educated and formed completely in the post-conciliar age. Therefore, since we pride ourselves on not being Manichaean, since we pride ourselves on understanding the person as a whole, we do not ask these young people, when entering the Order, to open their bags and leave out what we dislike. Sometimes there have been those collisions, and so it happened. But I predict that this new vocational encounter, this new generation, is able to bring their own baggage and to listen to the baggage that we have in the Order. So they ask for certain elements to ensure that identity, which we must recognize, those of us that preceded this generation that have put them to the side. We thought we do not need them. Now we begin to need them again, because that is the common element of liaison with the new generation who needs it. We must distinguish what a young person asks from what a young person needs. A young person, as any person, doesn't have to be given everything they ask, but what they need. And that's what we're seeing now.
Hay que distinguir lo que un joven pide de lo que un joven necesita. A un joven, como a cualquier persona, no hay que darle todo lo que pide, pero sí lo que necesitan. Y eso es lo que estamos viendo ahora.
The world in which we minister is constantly changing, and the temptation sometimes is to forget that we are on a pilgrimage, that we're on a journey, and try to settle down and make the places in which we minister places of security for us. Our formation is also involved, and that when young people come to us, if we recognize their vocations as gifts of God, then our function is not simply to form them to be like us, but we are also have to be open to being formed by them.
La Orden siempre ha sido muy capaz, y es uno de sus talentos,
the Order has always been very capable, and this is one of their talents, to recover the personalities of each one and ask that person to give his talents, or to develop them in the interests of the common good. There is no personal good.
No hay bien personal, si hablamos a fondo de la persona humana, que no pueda realizarse en el bien común. Y no hay bien común, filosóficamente hablando y políticamente, que no tenga en cuenta el bien personal de cada fraile, de cada uno.
Now, in our pluralistic world, an ideal is diversity. Unity is much more difficult to achieve because people are afraid of uniformity. So one of the key values in our way of life is that there can be unity without necessarily being uniformity. So for us, it's important to show that there can be an environment, there is a way of life in which people can live together in harmony, in unity, in communion, without the suppression of the individual. But in fact, the individual can flower in the proper sense in such an environment.
Pero una cosa es el bien personal y la persona, y otra cosa es el individuo, aislado. Nosotros no promovemos la individualidad, sino la persona.
By that which would never be a person, with all the honors and letters. but only by the pouring out of oneself for the common good, the local community, the provincial community, the whole order. It is an adventure. It is difficult, but we are not called to easy things.